I've been thinking a lot recently about whether I'm developing a style within my landscape photography, and I come to the conclusion that I'm gravitating towards very natural looking photos that are perhaps a little quieter as opposed to epic, and I feel that the choice of lens has played a significant role in the way I've been composing my photos over the last few years. So in today's landscape photography adventure, I brought along just one lens, which is also my most frequently used lens, and hopefully we can capture some great shots today at the coast. So welcome back to the coast, and a particularly blustery afternoon here, and it should be pretty good I think today. We're just expecting the arrival of Storm Ciaran, which is going to dish up some pretty tasty conditions I think, which I'm really excited about. And we've come to this location today to hopefully capture something dramatic down here with these amazing rock formations. Pretty big swell running as well, gusts, showers, the works. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what we can come up with today. Right, I need to put you down because this pit is looking pretty dodgy actually. So I've brought along my standard zoom lens today, which is the Fuji 16-55 f2.8, because it's my most frequently used lens in the last 2 years. And I think that sometimes limiting your equipment is a great way to stay creative. More than that though, it's really interesting to assess which focal lengths you tend to gravitate towards. Ultimately, knowing your preferred focal length can be really helpful when approaching new locations, especially for the first time. Now, this video isn't a lens review and it's not brand specific either. It's more about the focal range of the standard zoom lens and how versatile it can really be. So there's some pretty epic clouds right now, and I'm just really focusing on the headland there, all this sea spray coming up over the top, and some rain clouds out there as well with some dramatic light. So I'm really focusing on just the drama and mood really. It's fairly simple composition to be honest. I just framed it up, trying to make composition work with the clouds and the light. I'm just taking a few as the conditions change. Shutter speeds at 640th of a second at the minute, which is freezing all of the waves and the action there. I might experiment in a minute with some longer shutter speeds, but I just wanted to try and get this one before the conditions change. On days like today, it's really about capturing the drama and mood, isn't it, and being reactive as the conditions change. Now, if you're a Lightroom user, you can search your catalogue to find exactly which lens you use the most, and even which focal lengths are the most popular. To do this, simply open Library mode, click on Catalogue, and then All Photos on the left. Next, select the Metadata tab at the top, and you can choose different options from the 4 boxes as well. For instance, I'm selecting the last 2 years from the Date section, my XH2 from the Camera section, and then in box 3 I can see that most of my photos were taken with my 2 standard zoom lenses, the 16-55 and the 18-55. Additionally, I can check the focal length in box 4 to see the exact focal lengths used. I find this quite interesting because the majority of the photos taken were at either end of the zoom range, with a slight preference towards 25 to the 35mm range as well. So I urge everyone to take a look at their favourite focal lengths, because it can unlock a wealth of information that you can use to your advantage in future shoots. Right, let's go and find another shot. Whew, it's throwing everything at me now. Got a bit of rain as well in the mix, which is to be expected, and it's why I'm here, to be honest. It's those moments between the rain showers and the sunshine that can make some dramatic landscapes. Really like this shot here. We've got a lot of foam around these rocks here. I was just down there a little while ago, but the tide washed straight over me. So I've retreated just a little bit, and I think this area here is particularly nice. The rocks kind of lead the eye through the scene to the dramatic clouds in the background there. Yeah, I'm going to have to move again because, this tide is coming in quickly. Let me put this down. The tide is coming in rapidly here, and this little bit of sand here is lower. There's a bit of a sandbank, so once it comes over the top of the sandbank, we're going to get really wet. So let's move up here a little bit. Now I did manage to capture a couple of images there just before that tide washed over that sandbank. It's really interesting to see what they've come out like because I haven't seen them. I'll talk about how I had everything set up. Wow, frantic, isn't it, when it's stormy like this? Let's have a quick look. Oh wow, that's better than I expected actually. That's great. I was at half a second. I've got a 6-stop filter on the camera here, which is allowing me to slow my shutter speed down. And I'm at about 23 mil, so 23 mil on the APS-C is about 35 mil in terms of full frame size, which is how we typically see things with our own eyes. It's a very natural looking focal length. So that's one of the reasons I always tend to gravitate around that 35mm mark. It's it's very, very natural. So if you're ever looking to get natural photographs, anywhere between about 25 and 50 mil will give you that feeling. So yeah, actually I'm really liking this shot here. And as you'll be able to tell by the photograph, I got wet feet again. But you know, I think it was worth it. They're wet anyway, so it didn't really matter, does it? Get out the wind for a second. Now I believe that some of the main advantages of the standard zoom lens stems from its versatility. Now I've noticed that many of my images were captured at either end of the zoom range, which is quite interesting. 16mm or 24mm on full frame is wide enough to encompass a lot within the frame without distorting or making the image appear unnatural. Similarly, at the longer end, at 55 or 70, it can provide a respectable amount of reach without over compressing the image, which complements that natural look I tend to favour. So it's no wonder I gravitate towards this lens. So if the majority of your photos tend to cluster around the extremes of your zoom range, like mine did, it might be worthwhile to conduct some tests on your lens at those limits. Now typically, zoom lenses can perform less optimally at their extremes. So this is one of the reasons that I tend to opt for the 16 to 55 over the 18 to 55. It's just a tad more consistent at both ends of the focal range. I think I'm going to head back up the top there, see if we can get a little bit of drama looking up the coast, maybe a shot of the rock formations at the end of the bay because they're pretty cool. Yeah, it's fun down here though. Whew, it's going to be windy up there. So, this wind's brutal. So just before I leave this area, I think I might get a shot of this vertical strata here because it's absolutely wonderful. In this diffused light, it looks really nice as well. There's a lot of red and yellow colours in it and the green grasses too, which is really nice. And the bracken is dying down as well. Lots of different colours, I think, complement each other. So I might try and get a shot maybe from here or maybe a bit further up on the coastal path, and then we'll head out down the coast to see what else we can see this evening. Woo! Sand blasting at me. This is amazing. Anyway, right, let's see if we can get something set up with these rocks. Woo. Man, that wind. Oh, it's brutal. I'm getting blasted by sand here. It's ridiculous. I'm going to have to move in a second. But I think I quite like this shot. There's some vertical strata, 3 or 4 different layers of it. Oh man, this is getting me in the face. But anyway, yeah, I'm at 30th of a second, f8 ISO 125, and I'm at 55 mil, so fully zoomed in. And I might just need to crop into this image just a little bit to eliminate the sky because that is quite distracting. So I'm going to take the sky out of this shot. Probably, yeah, maybe I'll make it a 16:9 or just crop into it a little bit just to eliminate that section. I think the light's good now, so I'm going to go ahead and take this, just adjust my shutter speed to 40th of a second. The light's a little bit more bright. Oh yeah, that's good. It's that diffusion which separates the 3 cliffs. By the way, I'm not saying that I don't enjoy shooting at wider and longer focal lengths. I definitely wouldn't be without my telephoto lens or my wide angle prime. It's just really intriguing to see what's used the most often. When it comes to style, we can definitely learn a lot from our most used focal lengths. And by the way, I always put my standard zoom lens back on my camera when I pack it away if I've used a different lens, because I know that if I need to take a shot, it's probably going to get the job done most of the time. So I've decided to move along the coastal path, maybe another sort of half a mile or so. I do apologise if it's windy in the microphone, but I come across this place just here, which I wasn't expecting, and oh my gosh, this is just spectacular. Unbelievable, these huge swells coming in against these red sea stacks. Absolutely incredible. I have to take an image here. The light's not looking too good right now. There's some really dramatic clouds. I'm going to take an image anyway because the drama down here is just incredible. We've got to make an image here to finish off the video. Wow. So these are the conditions I absolutely love when it's brutal. The wind's driving in your face and the rain's battering you back. I'm kind of speechless here. It's such a dramatic landscape, it really is. I'm waiting for those big swells to come through, splash right up over these rocks. Here's one coming now. I've got the shutter release cable on, and at a 13th of a second, that's just showing some motion and movement in the water as those waves splash against the cliffs. Incredible. My focal length, I'm right at 16mm, so again proving that I'm using the extremes of my focal length from this standard zoom, but I don't have an issue with that. I'm probably going to frame this up 4x5 and hopefully it's going to make a good shot. Woo. Goodness for rocks. It's nice to get out of the wind for a second. Anyway, in this video up here I talk about a simple approach to wide angle photography, so I highly recommend checking out that video. If you enjoyed this week's adventure, please be sure to give it a like because that really does help me out, and if you fancy supporting what I do further, then please do consider checking out my zine. All of the proceeds from my zine go into reaching new locations and supporting the channel, so thank you so much for everybody that's checked that out already. Anyway guys, thanks once again, and I hope to see you all next week.